And that, whatever you're saying.
All right, y'all. This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show. We're live right now from Clubhouse. Hey, everybody, mute your mic. Mute your mic. We're live. Mute your mics. Mute your mics. We're live. Mute your mics. Moderators, make sure the mics are muted. All right, everybody, we're live on YouTube right now. I'm live from Clubhouse, trying to get the Clubhouse going right quick. We're about to talk about men's concerns when it comes to Black women. We need to get this conversation going. We need to get this dialogue going only on the Dre Mack Show. So make sure you guys like it. Go ahead. Let's get it cracking.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show.
What is up, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Show, live on YouTube. I have a panel on Clubhouse. Make sure that you guys are following the Dre Mack Show live show on Clubhouse. If you don't know what that app is, all you got to do is download Clubhouse. Go look for the Dre Mack Show room. It's the Dre Mack Show live podcast room. You could be able to be a member, so you could be on the panels when we're going live on these particular type of topics. Today, the question of the day is, do Black men feel that they are being heard by Black women, and why? Do Black women listen to Black men's concerns? So I have men in the audience right now that want to get it started, want to get the conversation started. So the first person, if you who do we have up that's going to come up first? And if when you do come up, make sure you state your name. You state your age and where you're from. Just your first name, your age, and where you're from, so we can go ahead and get this conversation started.
I go ahead and speak on that.
All right, what's your name? What's your age, and where are you located?
My name is L. I'm 30, and I'm from LA.
All right, so let's ask the question. Let's get this conversation started. Do you feel that Black women listen to Black men's concerns?
I mean, I'm gonna put it like this: if you're dealing with a female that's not listening to you, then that means she's not feeling you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, so I want you to elaborate when you said not listen to you, and in what capacity are you saying the women are not listening? Are we talking about in general, or are you talking about in a relationship? What are your concerns when you're talking about that they don't listen?
I mean, overall, but I'm not saying that women don't listen to me. You know what I'm saying? I must be doing something right, because whatever woman I deal with, or women that I have dealt with, if I had something to say, they was gonna shut up and listen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, women give different results to different men.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, because there's a lot of women. We had the show yesterday, and a lot of women had concerns that Black men wasn't taking their feelings into consideration when it came to communication. It seemed like it was more of a lack of communication. Can you speak to that? Can you educate men? Since you said that women listen to you, could you educate some of the men and say, hey, this is the way that you need to communicate with these sisters, so we could be able to have more flourishing relationships and not just the men bashing, ends of this and this, that, and the other?
I mean, it all starts with the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the woman you dealing with is a man in you, and she's gonna follow your lead. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna follow your instructions. She's not gonna cross boundaries when it comes to you. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you got something to say, she's gonna sit there and listen. Anytime you want her to do something, she'll do it. It all starts with the man.
Right. Do you think, let me ask you this, and then other men could jump into this because it's a more of a broader question. Do you feel like men are not taking a general lead, especially in our communities with our sisters?
Of course, like I don't know what it is, but it seems like a lot of men just don't have that strong backbone no more. It ain't no more structure in a lot of these men nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a lot of men lying to women, and that can also lead to her not listening. You got the truth. That's how the game go.
Right. Absolutely. I appreciate it, Vale. Anybody else wants to speak? Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. All right, anybody the next one, who wants to go next and kind of piggyback off of what Vale was talking about? You can pop in real quick.
All right, what's up with it?
What's going on? State your name, your age, and the location you're from.
What's up, man? I'm Matt, 24, representing Memphis, Tennessee, man. I feel what Vale's saying, you know what I mean? Like, you definitely have your women that definitely listen, you know what I mean? That's hard to argue with that, whereas if you was leading, you know what I'm saying, you doing right, then she definitely gonna follow suit. I feel like, I guess, like, the same way where it's like a lot of men don't have that backbone, I feel like it's like nowadays a lot of women don't have, like, that following mindset. I feel like it's becoming more, like, geared towards independence for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now, is that a concern for black men? Because when black men are out, even dating or even having conversations, and we express our concerns, do you feel like that women don't really listen to the concerns? They're really listening to what they want to hear.
Most definitely. I feel like they kind of read in between the lines, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It's more so like examining of the character.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like it's not more so much about what you're going through. I guess it's more so about how you handling it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me ask you this, and this is something, and this could really start a really good conversation with a lot of concerns with black men, because we're taught to be tough, we're taught not to be no punk. You know what I'm saying? We got to walk with this bravado. You know what I'm saying? This machismo. Per se. Do you feel like when it comes to our concerns, like our mental health, that we're expressing those things, but it seems like there's just a miscommunication where we're talking about that, because quite frankly, it's hard being a black woman, but it's also hard being a black man. Do you think that that's being conveyed, the mental health aspect of it?
All right, so I feel like recently it's starting to get some light shined upon it, but I guess like over the years, like it wasn't really like that. I guess you know what I mean. Like you said, like it's supposed to be strong, supposed to not cry, not supposed to do certain things. Anything like that was defined as unmasculine. So to get to the point where it's starting to get a little bit more open, where it's like a man can actually be like, okay, I'm feeling some type of way about this or that. You know what I mean? Or can actually get close enough to get in his emotions. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Mac. I'm gonna throw this out to the audience, and I want one of you guys to pop in on this, because this was something when we had a conversation, and a friend of the show, Nikki, said that this was her concerns about black men, and I want you guys to actually speak on this, and so we can be able to get a general understanding. Her concerns was that black men didn't know who they were, didn't have self-love, they wasn't loving themselves, don't see a black woman as equal, they more or less see them as a opposition. A lot of black men are not taking care of their kids, no accountability as being a father. Black men, when you hear that from black women, what are your concerns on that, and how can we talk to this and devour this her concerns on this?
Hey Drake, can you repeat that last part for me? I didn't catch that though.
It was not taking care of their kids and their accountability. So how can we break this narrative down and be able to show that we do take accountability, we do have self-love, speak to those things that was the concern of Black women? And you can go, brother. I didn't see who you were. The last brother just spoke.
Yeah, it was Milton. I was trying to actually put my thoughts together, man, because Nikki said that.
This was on the previous show. And you can watch that show. It's called The Conversation. That was some of her concerns on that. So let's speak on that. I don't want to go, back and forth with like what she said or whatever, but it was more of her concerns. And this was what we talked about yesterday when Black women, they had those same concerns yesterday when they were bringing up Black men not listening to them. So can you speak to that? Can we speak to that so we can be able to get some education on how to be able to break down that narrative?
Yeah, I can speak to that, man. Most definitely. I was like, oh no, not my darling Nikki. I know she ain't go off like that. But nah, for real. All jokes aside though, I would say about 70% of that is right. About 70%. I get a 70, and that's for me personally.
Right.
Because a lot of times as Black men, and I'm gonna just keep it 100. I don't know these men on the stage, and I'm not trying to speak for nobody.
Right.
But I had my father in my life. And in a way, I still didn't know who I was. Because my dad was trying to push me to be something else. Right. And he let it all the way out, man. I was a preacher's kid, man. My dad was a preacher. So as a preacher kid, man, it was kind of hard for me because I was being tested in so many ways. I was like, I had to be so perfect. People put me in a light where I just had to be perfect all the time. But then I had family members that was hood on my mama's side of the house that I hung around all the time. And I was constantly tested because my parents did things for me. And, I wasn't raised a certain way. When I'm out there in the hood, I had to be a certain way. Otherwise, I was being picked on. You understand what I'm saying? Absolutely. So, in a way, I didn't know who I was. So, when I got older, that's when the money making started coming out. That's when I started wearing different jewelry, to attract women. And then that's when, I started doing certain things to get attention. So I really didn't know who I was. I was insecure in that area. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And it took a while for me to get to that level as a man to, really be secure in myself. Now, I feel, and if I had a father and I was like that, I feel bad for the brothers who didn't have a father. Because they ain't got nobody to run to really get them together and be like, son, look, because I had that. So my father was a big, he was a big influence in finding who I was. And I had a lot of big brothers around me too. You know what I mean? Now, so far as taking care of the kids factor, man, it's just the fact of a man gonna handle his responsibility or he not gonna handle his responsibility. Right. At the end of the day, we know we gotta pay child support. We know these kids need us. It's either you go do it or you not go do it. Like I said, I can't speak on another man's personal situation, but I know I take care of mine. Right. That's all I really say about that. And so far as not listening, as men, hell no, we don't listen. No, we want to control everything. The problem with man is we want to control the water. We want to control the earth. We want to control animals. We want to control people. That's why I was slavery. But we don't want to control ourselves. That's the problem. A lot of us don't want to control ourselves. So a man without self-control is definitely not going to listen. The Bible says man should first examine himself. And it also says a man without self-control is like a city with no walls in it. Anybody can run into it and control that man. So a man has to have self-control first in order to listen. Because I see a lot of guys on Clubhouse try to police up women and try to moderate rooms. And I ain't speaking about the men in here. I'm just speaking in general. Yes. I see a lot of men trying to moderate rooms, but they can't even moderate their real life. They can't even moderate themselves. So how you telling somebody how to move and moderate themselves? And the main thing about men is we can't tell these women how to be women. We can't. That is impossible because we ain't no woman. So how you gonna tell her how to be a woman? But at the end of the day, Now, so far as seeing a woman as equal, the thing is, right, I see a lot of women whip out their degrees. They whip out their degree. And I think that degree gives some of them a penis sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so let me ask you this before you go any further. Do you feel like that's a concern when it comes to men? Because remember, these are our concerns that we're bringing out to women. So even with that because you brought up a good point, you know, some of these women bring a degree out and sometimes they use that to try to put themselves over a man. That's a concern. Speak on that.
Yeah, because it's more of a competition, man. Some of them feel offended. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna offend him. No, nigga, I'm equal. Who the fuck you talking to?
Right.
Just as you can get this for me, I can go get it myself. I don't need you. Because you gotta think, she probably had broke down Tyrone before, and she got done bad. So now that she built herself up, and we here, ain't no other man finna do me like that again. So some of them stay on the defense. They got that wall up. We on the defense. I'm not Betty the Builder. I'm not finna build this man up. He better have his shit together before he come to me. That's how some of them are, and which I don't blame them for that. Because a man should have his shit together before he approaching a woman. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, if it's gonna be love, we don't need to be competing. Bro, I touched 6 figures without a degree.
Right.
I just now got my degree this year. I got an associate's and I'm working on my bachelor's. I had the bread before I had a degree, but I figured out a degree would make me more money. So I would have got a degree. I mean, the government paying for it. I was in the Army. They want to pay for it and give me a degree. So I might as well take advantage of it, right?
Right.
But I would never in my life mention it or flex it on nobody. I care less about a degree. But I'm not going to lie. I'm learning a lot in college, so I'm glad I'm going. You know
right.
I mean? But at the end of the day, not to hog the stage, a man has to have self-control in order to listen. And if he's listening and understanding, I don't think a woman will ever whip out her degree, and disrespect him. If he just listening and understanding will take you a long way. I'm Milton and I'm done speaking.
All right, appreciate that, Milton. Milton is absolutely right. You know, a lot of men really we don't care if you have a degree or not. Because if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm walking in my destiny. And what he's really talking about, and from my point of view, is he's telling men to walk in your destiny and walking in your purpose. Because if you're walking in your purpose, you're gonna have tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? So your walls is going to be up, so you can be able to move in the right direction. You're not worried about this woman or whatever. You're walking towards your destiny. So when you do get that woman, she knows that you're in your purpose. She knows you're walking in your purpose. So when you're walking in your purpose, you can add her along. The degree, good. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't have a degree, that's good. That's fine. But a man's concerns is not putting yourself in a way or presenting yourself in a way because you have something to put that over a man and think, well, you need to be on the same level as me. You know what I'm saying? Because that starts a rift. And the main thing is the Black community is torn to pieces and we need healing. And that's the biggest thing. That's the reason why we're having this conversation. So that was really good, Milton. Who's the next guy who wants to come up and speak on this? Because Milton shut that one down. That was really good. Anybody else want to come up?
Yeah, I'll definitely speak.
All right. What's your name? How old are you and what city you're coming from? First names only and no N-words. Let's make sure we do that. No other N-word. You said whatever else. It's just not the N-word.
Yeah, my name is Chandler. I'm 28. I live in Dallas from Michigan.
And the question of the day, do black men feel that they are not being heard by Black women, their concerns, and why?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, naturally, I can say for myself and just what I see, I don't think Black women really listen to Black men's concerns. I just don't think that it was ever really a thing, right? I don't think that we ever really put much emphasis on it. So maybe we didn't even pay attention to it.
Hey, what are the concerns that they wasn't listening to?
Things like the obstacles that we face, the way in which we're trying to build or operate, in America, right? That, they kind of don't hear, like, they don't want to hear the excuses or why Black men aren't in position and all these things, right? They just don't want to hear it. It's like they just don't want to hear the excuses, right? So it's like those are the concerns that they're not listening to.
All right, Chandler, let me pose a question to you, because I posed this question to the ladies yesterday, but we had the same conversation with the ladies. Do you believe that the rise of mass incarceration after the 1964 Civil Rights Bill, the loss of jobs, the loss of the factory jobs, especially the ones that were in major cities like LA, like Kansas City, like Dallas, like Michigan, and then the war on drugs that took a lot of our Black men out, whether it was by jail or by death. Do you think that those are things that hinder Black men to grow up fatherless and different things like that, and grow up in a world where it was more of an uphill climb?
Yes, definitely. Especially on like a macro level. You're talking about widespread situations like cities, right? There's from East Coast to West Coast. You're talking about, damn near like mass genocide type situations that happen. So those outcomes left a lot of families and homes in shambles. So you could say that that was never really recovered from. It was never really addressed, and it's still not spoke on enough in order for us to have some type of reality amongst each other.
Absolutely. Do you believe that because that was the cause? So when I was talking to when I'm speaking on and I let the ladies listen to this yesterday, when we're talking about mass incarceration through the Richard Nixon era, we're talking about the war on drugs through the Reagan Bush era. We're talking about the results of that. Now, the 90s and 2000s kids are the results of drug-infested mothers, a lot of job loss, a lot of poverty. Can we say that changed the dynamic of men and women in the Black community? And that is why you see so many men not being able to leave, because they don't have those particular type of examples because of the environment that we're adjusting to.
Yes, definitely. I think it's more than just an example when it comes from men, right? It's more about examples and resources. Because when you're talking about raising a man, depending on what lane you take as a man early on, it's going to take very, very strong resources for you to compete. And we know America to be a competitive nation, always seeking to get advantages amongst each other, to be pushing for that goal, right? When you apply for Ivy League schools, there's only so many accepting letters that allow people to get in, or whether you're a state school and so on and so forth, right? So we know that we're all competing, right? And Black men often don't have those resources to keep competing. So that stops that inevitable flow that we need to be able to cross over to that next level, right? From elementary to middle school, you need resources to level up, right? You can't wear that same little outfit you had in elementary and middle school. You need a whole new swag, right? So if you don't have that resources to level up, you're gonna be stuck, and now you're behind. So I think it's more than just examples, it's about resources.
Absolutely. And then one more thing I'm gonna pose to you: do you believe Black men need to start tapping into resources for therapy? And again, I'm not bashing the Black church, but unless the pastor's a therapist, a licensed professional therapist, do you believe we need to start moving towards therapy instead of, you know, the common religion, getting on your knees and praying. Not saying that that's wrong, but actual professional therapy.
Yeah, I would think so, for sure. Like I said, because right now, I don't think black men are in a total space of reality, right? And I think that in order to get to reality, you have to face your mental state. And once you see yourself in a realistic place, you can now recover to get to, your right place, your rightful place. So, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the conversation, man. Again, these are the concerns. Make sure this is just a little housekeeping tip. Make sure that you guys are going on to the YouTube channel, the Dre Mack Show. Make sure that you hit the like. I need likes. Make sure that you hit the likes, because the more that we hit the like button, the more the algorithm goes in for YouTube, the more that these conversations that we're having get spreaded to more people, so we can number one, be educated for ourselves, and B, try to find a common ground for healing. Because again, the black community is in shambles. I don't care what no one says. The black community is in shambles, and we need to be able to heal so we can be able to go further and be able to get back to where we should be, not where we're currently at. So I appreciate all the fellas. The last conversation from Chandler, that was awesome. That was awesome. Any other brother wants to speak on this before I start opening it up to the actual comment section? And don't be afraid. Y'all can just pop in if you want to speak. You can just pop in. It's the perfect opportunity to let the ladies know what your concerns are. All right, I guess we don't have any more, so I'm gonna just go to the comment section real quick so we can be able to talk about what was being said. My man Jericho Young said it's not just simple communication but comprehension. He's saying that most of the time when men are speaking, women are not comprehending what he's saying. What we're saying is I guess it's the lack of communication. I'm gonna open it up to everybody that's on stage right now. So ladies, since there was not a lot of men in the last conversation, this is your opportunity to speak, and maybe we could be able to get a back and forth dialogue. And if anybody wants to come up from stage, you can this is your time now. Hit the go ahead and raise your hand, and we could be able to bring you up on stage so we could be able to have a more positive dialogue from the women's side and the men's side.
I definitely agree with that. I feel like we listen to respond versus actually trying to understand and comprehend what the other person is saying. And we so quick, like we have an answer before they even finish talking, just because that's just, I don't want to say that's how we're programmed, but that's just how I feel like we just kind of do things. We don't take the time to actually listen, and it causes a lot of issues, because then you feel like you're not being heard. You feel like somebody's talking over you, or you feel like what you got to say is not important. So that definitely is a big problem.
Right, absolutely. Any man wants to speak on that?
I agree with what she said.
Hey, I'm sorry, I should have asked y'all. Make sure y'all say y'all names, your age, and where you're from when you speak. So so everybody can, because since we're not virtual, we can't see you. I want to be able to make sure that they can differentiate for who's who. Sorry about that.
Sorry, my name's Aaliyah. I'm 28. I'm from Illinois. I live in Colorado.
All right. And the brother, go ahead and speak.
My name Derek. I'm 21. I'm from Nashville.
All right.
I agree with what she said. Like, it's all about most of the time women just they don't be like comprehending when you tell them something. You know what I mean? They just quick to react to something, but you also got to see where they coming from too, because they're women. Not trying to separate us, but you know what I'm saying? It's how they think. Like, they're, like she said, they're programmed to be like that. Like, that's how they are sometimes. It's just, but you guys have to figure out how to just find a way to make it work to where you can talk to a woman and be like, you know what, that's not the right way to, respond to that. Maybe hear me out a little bit more, and then that'll work out a little bit.
Let me ask you this, Derek.
That makes sense.
Yes. Let me ask you a quick question. When we're in the midst of communicating with women, do you feel like we need to be more direct with women, or do it needs to be, or how do you feel about that? Because I think sometimes men can be direct and it's taken wrong. So do you believe we can be more direct and more grounded so we can be able to get a better understanding? How do you feel on that?
See, that's a complicated question because it varies between women to women. Like some women, like all women are. I mean, they all sometimes have the same tendencies, but they're all different. You don't know. It depends on the type of woman. That depends on the type of approach I'll give her. Like if I know she'll take it better if I go direct, then I'll be direct. But if I know she's like a little sensitive and a little soft, then I'll try to, sweeten it up a little bit. But
all right. Appreciate that, Derek. In the comment section, let me get to this just real quick. It said, I believe we as women, this is from Erica Rutherford, that's on YouTube. Shout out to Erica, that's my homie. I believe we as women need more patience. Ladies, this is your opportunity. You know, these are men's concerns. Do you think that you need to be more patient with men? This is for any lady. Make sure if you do speak, say your name, your age, and where you're from, so we can be able to get that on camera since we're live.
Hey, you guys, this is Concrete. I'm 38 years old. I'm from Bay Area, California. I do feel women need to be more softer, understanding, and more patient and nurturing towards men. I feel the Black men have the backhand every single day, outside of the home and inside of the home. Is quite unfortunate, but that's how society made it. The Black man is the foundation. The Black woman is the atmosphere. You cannot contend with that. So we as women need to be strong in our own right to adhere, to be submissive, to be nurturing and kind to our men because they endure. Not saying we don't endure, because we do, but that's not, we tend to blur out when we hear men say, well, I'm tired, and then a woman be like, I'm tired too. But it's not about them being tired. It's about submitting, listening, and not contending, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Fellas, this is your opportunity. This is where this is getting good. Fellas, I need y'all to step up. You know, this ain't demon time now, but I mean, this is the good stuff. What do y'all feel on this? Fellas, don't be quiet on me. Y'all can speak. Anybody can pop up and speak. Go ahead. Who wanted to go?
Could you repeat that last part, Concrete? I'm sorry if I said your name wrong.
No, my name is Concrete with 2 Ks. I forgot. I said a lot. My brain be kind of working, but basically, when a man expresses to his woman how he feels or how much he's endured throughout the day or whatever, we tend to blur the lines and say, well, I feel, but it's not about I, because that's being selfish, right? We need to remove I and adhere to what he's expressing. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, I 100% agree with that. I don't got nothing to say about it because I agree.
let me ask the ladies. One of the men's concerns was thinking that I want to try to make sure that I phrase it correctly because I don't want to phrase it wrong. But a man is right now walking in his purpose. He's not there yet, but he's walking in his purpose. He doesn't have at the time a lot of money, and he feels like he's not exactly where he wants to be at, but he's walking towards his goal. And a woman comes over and flashes her PhD, or she flashes where she's at in corporate America or whatever. And he feels slighted by that. What do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like it's wrong? What adjustments can Black women make so Black men don't have that concern where they feel like we're opposition, we are worried each other, but we're at equal playing field? I'm just not right there where you're at right now.
Respectfully, I feel it's a right and wrong way how you approach a person, especially a man or any human being for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
It either can motivate the man or it can make a man feel as if he's not man enough for that woman. So if she does it in a way like, you know, I did A, B, and C to get here, I know you can do it too. She has to speak life into him and not oppress him with what she's accomplished. It's all about how you deliver.
That's a good one. I even shut up on that one. She said it all. Fellas, what do y'all think? Or ladies, or the ladies can speak too.
I was about to say I agree with that as well because it's like it is two sides to that. It depends on the type of man you have. Like if the guy is like on his journey, on his way to becoming, you know what I'm saying, successful, and he's with a girl, well, he's with a woman and she's already at that point and she's flashing her degrees and all her accomplishments. It's either going to depend on the type of man it is, it's either going to make him or break him. He's either going to use it as motivation, like, damn, I need to get there, or it's gonna be like, why is she doing this? You know what I mean? She's belittling me. It depends on what type of man you have in that situation.
Right. I feel like a man's confidence.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I know it's your first time speaking. Say your name, your age, and where you're from.
I'm 22 and I'm from DC. Like he was saying, I just feel like a man's confidence level has to be there. Sometimes you can't just assume that a man is not going to be in his feelings off of you sharing your good news, or you can't assume that he'll be happy about it. You know, like it all has to do with your confidence level. How you feel is how you feel. Can't nobody really change that.
I want to piggyback off Mrs. K really quick. You said confidence level, right? Any one of us in this room us as human beings can have confidence and we can feel strong in that moment and feel very resilient. And sometimes we as humans, we have a peak where we feel vulnerable or weak, or we're questioning the matter at hand about where we're going in our life. And if that person shines that perfect PhD or master's that you're heading to, but how they do it makes you question yourself in your journey, you're going to fall sometimes weak to that, right? And we as humans, we're human. We do that because we're imperfect, right? I think we all have had our moment. I have, right? So again, we can have confidence, but if we have an incubus around us who treads our feet off, breaking others down, man or woman, it's best to remove them. You get what I'm saying? So again, it's all about the delivery with speaking life into that human or that black man to keep him, hi my love, to keep him true to his journey. I say that with love.
Right, and I understand where you're coming from 100%, but like I said, it's sometimes you have that person like that you can speak life into somebody or you feel me, or you want to, but sometimes it's not enough for somebody.
I think what she's saying, I think what Concrete is saying, if the man is open for you to speak life, you know, like they're saying you can take a horse to water, but you can't make a drink or whatever. Like, the man has to be open. Concrete, am I correct, or?
Yes, that's definitely part of it. I hope I'm explaining myself right. Ms. K, if I'm not mistaken, you said if a person has confidence and a person shares a PhD or master's, right, they'll be broken or misguided. Is that what you said, right? I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
No, you can take that confidence word away completely. If a person has to be secure within themselves, like you can't. Like everybody, you can't just make them feel better, or you can't make them, you feel me, see things the way you see it. You can't, like you said, speak life into them. Some people, that stuff goes in one ear and right out.
But see, this is
like you said, you have to be open. Like, I get what she's saying. Sometimes you have to be open into receiving that stuff.
But Miss K, this is one of the things that men were concerned about. Because the men were saying that, you know, sometimes we could take our accomplishments as women, because let's keep it 100. that is propagated to Black women to be independent. It is very much propagated through media, through music, through whatever means to be independent. You don't need no N-word. You don't need this. You don't need that. I'm doing me. I'm doing me. So when the men's concerns are, you approach this dude with that propagated attitude, and now you're making it makes men feel belittled, if you get what I'm saying. Not, you see what I'm not necessarily like, hey, I feel so accomplished. I'm proud of you. They're making it where a lot of women just think, oh, you ain't nothing because I got this and I got that, and look at you and you ain't got this and I got that, because we've been propagated to think that men are this and women are above them. And that is the man's concern. So what do you say to women who come to men like that?
I think that's a small trajectory of women.
So remember, this is I'm sorry, this is men's concern. So
I know, but I don't think it's fair to put it on all of us women.
Yeah, not all women, but this is what some of their concerns. So this is general, not that's like let me make sure that I say that this is a general thought process. It's not all, this is just general speaking.
Right. I want to say something really quick. So the Black man has always been looked at inferior because he, in all actuality, he is superior, right? So if we look at the project as a project on Black women and Black men, so the Black woman can stay inside the projects for $10 a month, food stamps, Medicare, and everything, but the Black man can't be in the home. That Black woman say, fine, I'll take it. So they invite the white man and say, okay, and push out the Black man. Now the Black man has to go out there and work 2 or 3 different jobs just to pay child support. And that's a form of lynching the Black man. That's how I feel, respectfully so. And then the women were given food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, cash aid, child support. You know, that's all in the way of lynching the Black man to where he cannot get ahead. And the moment he can't get ahead or he can't work, his driver's license is gone. If he go to jail, now he has fines. He can never get ahead. The Black man has it the worst. He has it the worst. I cannot express this enough.
Blue, go ahead with your comment. I didn't mean to cut you off when we were talking, but go ahead with the what were you saying right before her, because that was good, Concrete.
Oh, no. Concrete has taken it up, so let's go. I love it.
All right, Black men, what do y'all have to say on that? Don't all go at once.
I do want to say Concrete just gave a beautiful love letter to Black men. So y'all should really, where y'all at with this?
Yeah, Black men, I want to hear from you. Come on now. This is for y'all. This is the education portion. You know what I'm saying? Black men, don't be afraid to speak.
I've been talking too much.
No, you good, but you good, brother. If you got to be the representative of it, just go ahead.
All right, what did she say again? Because I kind of missed a little bit of.
Go ahead and
expressing is that so when a Black woman gets upset with her baby's daddy or child's father, she says, hey, I don't need you. I'll be just fine. And what she do, she go down and get welfare and child support. That's the new age lynching for the Black men. That's my personal opinion, because I feel like the system was never meant for us Black women and Black men to thrive, evolve, and grow and break generational curses. I do not believe that. It was made to oppress the Black man and the woman, and to keep the woman and Black men enslaved mentally, thinking that we need them, right? Furthermore, they made the projects, right? And put the Black woman in the project, saying, hey, you don't need the Black man, but if you don't let him in this home, we can give you Medi-Cal, cash aid, food stamps. We can even go get you free cleaning and crowns on your teeth if you need it. So the Black woman says, yeah, nigga, I don't need you. I'm good.
Watch the N-word for the algorithms.
My apologies.
I got you though.
Yeah, I was just expressing in the way that matter, but my apologies.
Yes.
Man, I don't need you. I'm good. But what that Black woman has done, she has invited that white man not just into her home, but into her soul and into her mind by pushing the Black man away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Can I say something? Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead. State your name, your age, and where you're located.
Okay, my name is Sharon King, Ronnie, for those of you who know me or want to get to know me. You said my age and where I'm located?
Yes. Which I know who you are, but this is for YouTube purposes only.
No, it's okay. I'm 40. I just turned 40 in April, and right now I'm located in Texas, but I'll be headed home to Kansas City by the end of the week. So I think that Concrete and Blue, we're starting to talk about something that's very important towards Black men, and that is kind of the group dynamics, group economic angle of where we are as a people and where men are as men as far as Black men goes. I think they're starting to touch on that subject right now, and I wanted to add my 2 cents since we're in the education portion of tonight's show, if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know if everybody knows, but a man named Dr. Claude Anderson, if you don't know who that is, YouTube, he's been on the Breakfast Club, he's been working for the last 50 years. Let me know, Dre, if you guys can't hear me.
No, you're good. We're good. Go ahead.
So Dr. Claude Anderson talks about how one of the biggest things that has happened to Black men in specifically Black men is that the enemy or the dominant culture or the psychological war that we are in as a people, specifically geared towards Black men and then trickling down to Black women and children, is they took away our ability to unite mentally, psychologically, spiritually, physically, and at the end of that results in how do you say this? No united front economically. So when we talk about women who may or may not use their accomplishments against men, we are also highlighting a portion of the psychological war that tells us that our men don't work together to create plateaus and benchmarks for each other, so that there was no way that, as Concrete says, the white man, the perpetrators of this psychological war, let's just say, because it's not just the white man, the perpetrators of this psychological war against the Black man could use their tools to separate the Black man and the Black woman. So, in essence, I don't want to go on too long because Dre know I'll make this 3 hours if I have to. But one of the best tools against this type of oppressive and suppressive system and war that we are in is to create platforms where Black men are working together. Now, that's whether we're talking about formal education, informal education, trades, things of that sort. One of the biggest ways that Concrete and Blue's points can be seen is through professional and economic means. Once you have children, there is no way to escape the necessity of money, to escape the necessity of economics. There is just no way around that. So one of the things that Dr. Claude Anderson talks about is how to build a 5-story building. The first level would be economics. Even those, let's say, I guess maybe blue-collar workers. My dad was a blue-collar worker, definitely like that's not important. But those blue-collar workers who come together and, okay, let me give another example. Let me try this another way. you know how there's like a Koreatown and a Chinatown and all those different kinds of things? That's because those particular men in that particular community united their economic means and started to buy up the block. That's why there's a Koreatown, a Chinatown, a Little Italy, you know, the Polish have their area. You know, there are several different kinds of these communities around the country. And those men pool their money together, working at their individual jobs, or pool their talents together to create jobs for each other, and started to buy up the block. And then once they started to buy up the block, then they started to come together as a political force and say, well, these particular set of people are not to vote for whoever if we aren't represented. So then they started to put in maybe another man who they were politically savvy from the neighborhood, or a young gentleman coming up in that particular neighborhood. The Irish were really good at this some time ago. If you ever seen, what is that movie anyway? I don't want to take too long. So they began to import people who could help control the courts, could help control the police. Whether they put in the police, they put in their people in the court system. They kind of played a game of tit for tat. So I do you a favor. You know, if you need your sister this building for her daycare, well, I need you to use your energy to get this person into the court system as a judge, or a bailiff, or a police, or so they started to build the house that way. And then the more people that they got in these particular situations, these particular offices, aldermen, if you want to call them locally, councilmen, this type of thing, then they started to use their force as a group. I know that people hate to say, we're not a monolith, but sometimes we need to act as a monolith, as other cultures had, and the suppressive culture have shown us how to do, following the Maslow's rules, and as we have done as the enriched man of society. So once those particular offices were filled and we started to become a political force, then we were able to demand certain things from the dominant culture as a whole, as the Chinese have done, and as if you don't believe me when I say as the Asian Americans have done. What's our president's name?
Some of Biden.
Biden had to sign an Asian American and Pacific Islander bill.
Yeah, I think you cut off, but basically, because it started to get kind of choppy towards the end. It was basically talking about we need to be able to take back our economy. So what Concrete was saying prior to that was all the disadvantages that went towards black men. If they can't put you in jail, they'll put you in financial jail, basically. So they geared in the projects, government assistance towards black women. And if the black man is in there, you can't get it. So it makes you choose. You see what I mean? And what Sharon was saying is that we need to be able to get back to the economics, you know what I'm saying, or powernomics, the things that Dr. Claude Anderson is saying. And then I want to point this out, and I want men to understand this because in the comment section, my friend Erica, she said, we as women cannot express how men feel. And this is just for the men. And I want y'all to really understand this. And this is the reason why I want you guys to speak, because she says, this is the reason for the conversation. If you as a man cannot tell me how you feel or what you need from me, no one else will. No one else can. So men, this is your opportunity to tell women, because this is the thing. Silence is only golden at the movie theater. But And this is a prime example just from this conversation. If you don't lead, women will. If you do not speak up, they will speak up for you. So men need to understand, and this is for every man that's listening on iHeartRadio or that's listening on Spotify right now, that's listening on YouTube right now, on the Facebook page. You as Black men have to speak up for yourselves, or the women will do it for you. So when they speak for you, you can't be mad if you're not represented correctly. So guys, you have to be able to speak, stand up, say, I don't like this and this is why. So we can be able to have the conversation, because if we don't, folks are going to pick up the goalpost and take it somewhere else. This is your opportunity to be able to express yourself, a safe place, so women can be able to understand the concerns of Black men, so we can be able to move forward together. Because again, at the end of the day, this is about healing. How can we be able to heal each other? But if men are not being honest, if you don't like Kevin Samuels, speak up. If you don't like what he says, you speak. You talk. You let people know how you feel. You say, I don't like this Black woman, and this is why, and make it logical. You see what I mean? So they can be able to understand where exactly they can be able to adjust, and then you can be able to adjust. You see what I mean? So that's the reason why we're having this conversation. So men, I'm gonna go a little further. Normally I do about an hour. I'm gonna go an hour 15. I'm gonna go an hour 15. So we're gonna give it another 20 more minutes. But men, I want to hear from you. Men, go ahead at this time. You can go ahead and speak. And just go ahead, just pop yourself off of mute. And tell the women, be real with them. Don't be scared. That's what they say. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Talk. Let these women know what you feel.
Hi, this is Tyson from Georgia. I think I'll chime in for a second.
Go ahead, Tyson from Georgia. How old are you, brother?
23.
23. All right, man. What do you got for me?
So this is my first time speaking on Clubhouse. A lot of the stuff that I be hearing about the app is it's a little ratchet, but I like this conversation. And I was listening to what I think the lady's name is pronounced, Sharon. I was listening to what she said, and I don't think that we can negate the conditioning and all of the, I know you said you got to watch for the algorithm, so I'm going to try not to cuss. But I don't think we can negate
just the N-word.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. I don't think we can negate all the shit that America has put us through as Black people. But I feel like at some point, where do we go from there? Like, I'm a Sagittarius, so we don't like to let shit drag out and all that. We're very problem solution. So it's important to acknowledge, the prison pipeline and everything that's stacked up against us as Black men, and also what's stacked up against us as Black women. Because another woman earlier, she said that Black men have it harder, and I'm sorry, as a person who grew up with 3 women in the home and a lot of women as family, when you're a Black and you're a woman, it's just a different level stacked up. And I don't think it's for us to play the Piston Olympics, but acknowledge that you got to shit stacked up against you double when you're a woman and you're Black on top of that, And then, once you get into the little, intricacies like, okay, skin color, skin tone, all that stuff, that even branches it out even further. But I don't think it's necessarily, I don't see where the conversation goes after that. I think that's what I want to see more of as a young Black man coming up. I see my uncles having talks that are similar to this and my aunts having talks. And I think I need to see, okay, so what are our solutions? Because at this point, why do we not have a Koreatown or a Chinatown? And yes, I know about Tulsa and all that stuff, but what happened? What made us stop? Or not even what made us stop, because we already discussed what made us stop. Why are we not trying again to have another Tulsa, another Black Wall Street? What's prohibiting us now? A lot of people during this pandemic are literally, they start businesses just out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say it's as easy as you wake up and you get an LLC, because I know a lot of those people on Twitter talking outside of their ass. But, where do we go from here? And then let's start going towards that goal, whatever that is.
Mr. J, may I address Mr. Tyson?
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Tyson, with love, I say this. Yes, I said men have it harder in society, and I stated the facts, right? But I want to be very, very clear. In a household, the man is the foundation, right? The woman is the atmosphere. And simultaneously, they're two entities working simultaneously as one, right? A house cannot stand without the foundation. And this is why many women today in America are so masculine, because the black man or the man is removed from the household, and a lot of women no longer respectfully know their position or roles or place, you see? And I say that with love. Furthermore,
go ahead, Concrete. I think she something happened with her audio.
Can I make a comment?
Oh no, let me address something. Who was that? Who just spoke?
It's Josh.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Josh.
I want to say something to Tyson's point about why we don't have anything like the Tulsa and the crank. I think we have, the narrative has been written to where we have lost a sense of togetherness among the black community. I see we're starting to get it back a little bit, but for the most part, that connection has been broken, because it's all about individuality now and how we can individually make ourselves better and get it on our own, instead of trying to, when we get it, we reach back and bring another black woman or black man forward. It's like, I got mine, get yours type of mentality now. And back then, it was more of a togetherness. You know, we need to move as one unit. Let's get this, let's get that, and how we gonna do it. But we have lost that, and that's why we can't have our own black cities, black communities, to where it's all black owned, black banks, black police departments, black hospitals, because there's no more togetherness in the black community. And I want to make a point. I want to say that towards that point.
Sharon, your audio. Yeah, your audio is bad. Tyson, to go off, and I know we're going off on a kind of sideways a little bit. What I would say to the why, when you're looking at the why of something, you have to understand that, number one, we don't need to be in competition with each other. So this is the reason why we're having this conversation on YouTube, on Spotify, iHeartRadio right now, because we have taken what we're supposed to do and made it against each other. Black man against the black woman, light skin versus dark skin, not knowing that we're still all in the same bag of M&Ms. So the conversation is the concern, so we can understand each other. If you express your concerns as a black man to a black woman and say, I can succeed, but this is the hindrance that I'm having from black women. And I'm gonna get to a comment here. We have this conversation. We come up together. Listen to what I'm saying. We come up together with a solution. Once we have that solution, we move forward. And the more and more we start having conversations like this, the more and more it spreads and we get to understand each other. So when somebody comes on Clubhouse and they're being ratchet, you saying, that's not for me, I'm gonna move over this way. Because what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to find a safe space for me to be able to express myself and to be able to talk. And then once those conversations become the movement, and that means the work, that means we start going out in our communities, we look at each other and we respect each other. We can walk with, we can talk with each other, and we can be able to give that same courtesy that we give to other people, you know what I'm saying, that is not in this race, to ourselves. But if we're not healing each other, there's no Black Wall Street. There's no nothing of that, because we need to be able to heal each other. I don't care what Chinatown's doing. I don't care what the Jewish community is doing. I don't care about none of that. What I care about is my people. Why aren't my people healing? And the main reason is because we are not having legitimate conversations about reality. We literally can talk about somehow, the next rapper. We can talk about Bitcoin and all of this. But where's the healing in the Black community? Why aren't we talking more about the trauma that goes on in our community? All the things that was put against us from our United States government led us to PTSD. basically all that poverty, gun violence, drug abuse, all of that stuff led to things that we need to be healed from. And putting the black man against the black woman, we need healing on that. And if we're not legitimately healing, there's no way we could be able to build a society because we're too busy fighting amongst each other. So go ahead, brother.
And you're absolutely right. But it's because that it's too many individuals. And we don't want to have those hard conversations because they're really hard to have. Because once we start, as the black community, we always want to place blame on the outside factor instead of looking at ourselves and on the inside, like, hey, you know what? I need some fixing to do to make this situation better for myself. We always want to place blame on somebody else, but we have equal or if not more to blame because all we can do is control ourselves. If we control ourselves, then we can control the outcome sometimes. Not to say that if we control ourselves, they're going to comply all the time. I'm talking about white officers in particular. But it'll help the situation. Because we can only control ourselves. We can't control another man.
Absolutely.
Be white, black, or indifferent.
Absolutely. And I want to shoot this to the audience real quick. I'm sorry. I want to shoot this to the audience. This is just from the comment section. And I want to be able to get this story out. And then I want, because this is a male, Marcus Beltman on YouTube. He put up a story and this is his concern. I want women to speak to this. And I'm posting it up. He says, I'm Marcus, 34 from Kansas City. I went through 3 different women to speak about how I feel towards them and express my feelings. He said 2 out of 3 said that they felt I couldn't protect them. 3 out of 3 told me that men has no feelings and it felt like they were in a relationship with a woman. He says, now that I'm with my wife, she's trying to get me to open up about my feelings. My excuse that I keep telling her is my past burnt me too much to speaking about my feelings now. That's a concern of a black man. Ladies, I'm giving you an opportunity to speak on that and tell me, what do you think about that particular incident?
I feel like there's not any reason that your past relationships and the issues that you have had with previous women should have even carried over to your new relationship. One, you said 3 women and then you went to your wife. So clearly she's doing something different than these 3 women in order for her to be your wife. If you can't sit here and be able to express yourself efficiently, one, and then also in a healthy way, that's not fair to her. She didn't do anything to you in order for you to feel like you can express. Until you at least try to do that and then she does the same thing or she gives you some type of backlash, that is not fair in any kind of way for you to be doing that. And that's just my personal opinion.
Black man, what do you have to say about that?
I think she's sorry.
Go ahead, Tyson. My fault, boy.
I think she's 100% correct. I recently just went through. Now I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna be a second before. Like at this point, if you homeless and you on the street, I'm gonna buy your food, but I'm not gonna hand you money. But I just went through a situation with a potential was supposed to be roommate. And literally maybe 2 years ago, I did this same charade. My friend, long story short, so I don't want to hold up too much time, but she was stuck in Alabama, was in a marriage, and she was living with the family. And I'm like, she found out he was cheating or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's his family. Unless, they're fucked up like mine, they're going to take his side and you're going to be, shit out of luck. So I convinced her to come back. Long story short, that roommate situation didn't work out. Neither did the one that I just tried to do that with, help another friend out to get his finances and his life together this prior year 2021, these last few months. And, I still went in with the same attitude of let me try this. I didn't hold him to what she did to me. And I was a lot closer to her than I was to him. Me and her was like college classmates. Whereas with him, I didn't really know him too well. But as the saying goes, you don't know somebody till you live with them. So there's that too. But I didn't take those same qualms that I had with her and those same issues that I had with her into my, lack of relationship with them.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask the panel this. Can we agree that we do need more therapy? Because what it sounds like is that we're not healing because we're not seeking proper counsel. Can we speak to that? Are we not getting enough counseling in the Black community, especially with Black men, especially with Black men?
Well, I'm a big proponent of therapy and counseling. I think because sometimes you need somebody that don't know you that you can talk to. And I'm a big supporter of that. I want to. You made a comment and a point about Black males being able to express themselves.
Yes.
I think it's a little bit deeper than that. As a Black male in a Black community, we are taught to be emotionless, whether we want to agree with it or not.
Yes, absolutely.
We are taught that.
Absolutely.
And because the man, we supposed to be strong, nothing supposed to be able to phase us, and that's so far from the truth. I don't know what is.
Yes.
Because we get affected by things just as well as everybody else, but we are taught not to show it, and then that creates a communication barrier. And then when it's time to express that, we don't know how. And that's a big issue. We got to start teaching our young Black men that it's okay to express themselves in any way they seem fit, because I can't tell you how to feel about something.
Right.
So whatever way you feel, you need to express that. And once we start teaching young Black men that, the communication barrier that's between Black women and Black men would be fixed, because they would know how to express themselves.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead.
One is 100% correct. This is all super interconnected. Everything that we've tried to touch on, even down to the power economics thing, is super 100% connected. The healing, the trauma, the lack of economic and political power that translates into who a man wants to be, how he communicates at home with his children, his wife, his women, the women in his past, the women in his future, et cetera, et cetera. Women being men, being too masculine. All this is super interconnected.
Yes, absolutely. Men, anybody else wants to piggyback on what she said? Go ahead. Don't be scared.
I concur. I agree 100%.
And again, this is the reason why and anybody who's in the audience right now who's listening, we are live right now on YouTube. I appreciate everybody who's speaking. Make sure that you're following the YouTube page. It's the Dre Mack Show. I am going to come back tomorrow with a new show. We're going to talk about trauma and the trauma that goes on with Black men and Black women in the Black community. That's going to be the next subject we're going to talk about tomorrow. Let me know if you want to be able to listen to that on Clubhouse. But it is going to be live on the YouTube channel, the Dre Mack Show. So make sure that you're going to YouTube, go to the Dre Mack Show, and being able to subscribe. Like, I am going to give away. I just hit 100 subscribers. I am going to give away a $25 gift card to one of my subscribers. That's going to be on next week. That I'm going to announce who that person is, so I can be able to send you a $25 gift card for just subscribing to the Dre Mack Show. So I appreciate you guys that tune in all the time. I'm gonna make sure to do everything I can to make sure that I keep this content going. Let me ask you guys before I start, diving in to wrap this up. Ladies, what are some of the things that you feel that you can do to be able to bring Black men to feel more comfortable, or to teach other women, because that's a big thing too, teaching other women how to be able to communicate and comprehend properly with a Black man? I'm bringing it to the ladies now.
I feel like when we're friends with a man and like strictly just friends, we need to make sure that we let them know, listen, this is a safe space. We're able to talk about whatever we need to discuss and be honest and be real with each other, and let that person know we're not judging you. I'm not judging you. And whatever me and you talk about is what me and you talk about. I'm not going outside of that, because that's another thing. People tend to come and want to talk to someone, and the first thing after they been talking to someone, girl, let me tell you what such done told me, and it's like, now how can that person trust you?
Mm-hmm.
We gotta as women, we have to learn that whatever is going on with our partner is with our partner. That's it. It should not be outside the bedroom, none of that. Now, if this is an issue that really it keeps occurring, then you and your partner need to really seek whatever therapy, pastor, whatever counselor, whoever y'all can seek to help try to mend that issue and go from there. And if the issue doesn't work out, then, y'all got to figure out whatever that next step is going to be. But confidentiality and keeping an open space and a listening ear is important.
Absolutely.
Sorry. I just want to speak to everybody and say what Dre asked. I'm so sorry. Is to be patient, be kind, be conscious of your body language. Listen to comprehend. Don't listen just to respond, because that means you're not really listening to the man. Be submissive. Be able to lay down your guard when he's speaking. And speak life over him. And if you guys have a higher power, place him prior to the discussion. So your higher power prior to the discussion. So there's guidance and spiritual that will manifest in the physical. I say that with love. It was a pleasure, you guys.
No problem. Thank you so very much. Anybody else?
Yes, I've been dying to ask a question to Concrete, actually.
Go ahead.
But I'm not sure if she left.
Oh, no, she hasn't left. We still got 14 minutes left, so we're good. We still got a little time.
Okay, so I actually got a question that I wanted her to clarify, because I'm probably going to shake the table a little bit, so brace yourselves. But I just feel like these type of conversations they're a bit regressive. But I wanted to ask the question.
I was about to say, before you go further, explain regressive.
They consist of like coddling black men, like just kind of like, you guys are victims and you're like this endangered species that the system is against. And I feel like you guys have a lot more control over things than you'd like to admit.
So
can I say
hold on, wait a minute. Before you go, Josh, I would say that if we look at the reality of things, and like I said, if we're talking about mass incarceration, if we go to Michelle Alexander's book, which is The New Jim Crow, and I know if you haven't watched it, she has a show that was on Netflix called 13th. There was literally a war against blacks, and the black man was a target. That is facts. The war on drugs was targeted towards the black community and was targeted towards black men. Those are facts. Fact of the project and the government assistance program that was targeted against black men. Those are facts. So we cannot disgrace the facts of the war against black men and black women. Black women have this portion of the war. Black men have this portion of the war. So we cannot discount that and say, oh, you're just playing victim. Because there is a level of this chess match that actually affected us. If not, we wouldn't have this conversation. We wouldn't talk about mass incarceration from the Richard Nixon era all the way up to the Clinton administration. We wouldn't talk about how many black men were sent to jail. There were more black men that were sent to jail than in slavery. So we cannot poo-poo that and say that's coddling. These are the reasons why we're having this conversation, because there's a cause and effect. Not taking away with what you're saying, I'm also just letting you know there is a cause and effect, and this is the reason why we are where we at right now, and we're in the process of healing. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I didn't actually get to complete because I started off saying I wanted to ask Concrete a question, and then you just kind of like
because I understand that you were going towards Concrete, but I wanted to give the point across that this is the reason why we're having this conversation. I'm going to allow Concrete to respond to that because the question was directed towards. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. I don't want to be that guy, but this is my platform and we're live. So I want to make sure that you kind of understand, you know what I'm saying, the direction that we're going. I'm gonna allow Concrete to respond to that, but I'm gonna allow Josh to get a small point across, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Concrete.
Concrete, go ahead, lady first.
No, but I'm saying I never asked her the question, so there wasn't anything for her to respond to because you just overtalked me. You never allowed me to even ask her.
Well, I actually wanted to stop you because the way the conversation was going, you said you're going to shake up the table, and I'm responding to the way that you're shaking up the table. So I wanted to get that point across before that got lost in the sauce. So go ahead and ask your.
So I'm going to leave because I don't appreciate.
See, this is the problem. Hold on, let me just say this. This is the problem. This is the reason why we're having this conversation. Because if you can just throw a pot shot and say someone is emotional when I'm giving you a logical explanation of the reason why I stopped the conversation right then and there, and then presented it to someone else so they can respond, that needs to be understood that I'm not going to sit and let the bashing start. I'm going to nip it in the bud right then and there, and let's talk about the facts first, and then we're going to go to, you know what I'm saying, the question. So if you don't like the way that I respond, it is what it is. That's fine. You have the opportunity to leave, but we're not going to go and say that this is this and nobody responds and just poo-poo it and just go to another question. Go ahead.
Right, and I'm glad that situation just happened because that's one of the major issues and contention between black women and black men.
That's a concern. That's a concern.
They have what's going on. They have a insensitivity to what black men are going through.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at it, if you look at the numbers, because numbers do not lie.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers tell you that there's been a systematic scheme to disvalue and disenfranchise the black man in America.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot deny numbers.
Yes.
We are disproportionately represented in every category.
Yes.
And if you don't come to terms with that, there is no healing.
Yes. Absolutely. Concrete, go ahead because you're flashing your mic. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just agreeing. I was agreeing with what both of you guys were expressing, and I was ready for any tea she was getting ready to spill or express because I have a very strong, soul season. I'm very marinated, and I stand in what I believe in, and I'm very old school. I only speak facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's truth in black and white, which are books, and I read. I'm a sapiosexual, and I would never backhand the black man at all. But I would definitely educate the black woman at need, so like necessary. And that's what was about to be a learning moment in that moment. But you did it. Applause for you.
So the thing is that when someone doesn't agree with you, why do and I'm gonna ask this to the whole entire audience. Why is it that when we don't agree with each other, we want to go, you're gay, you're emotional, you're not listening, you don't do this, you don't do that. Go.
Well, it's funny because, like I said, numbers don't lie.
Yes.
I'm not building a straw hat when we tell you that is very negative towards black men in America. This is not something that I think is going on. This is nothing that I'm trying to come up in my mind. This is number backed.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is stats. Numbers do not lie.
Right.
So, no, I'm not emotional. I'm trying to give you facts.
Yes.
But the problem is people put emotion in facts.
Yes.
Okay, and the great one. Can I be a devil's advocate for just 1 second and say this is maybe the way she could have approached it, because I understood where she was going, but the way that she did it was very volatile. So with those facts that are undisputable, okay, Dre and the great one and everybody else and me as well, what kind of different choices could we have made then? And what kind of different choices can we make now to move past those indisputable facts that happen to especially the black man, undisputable, and trickle down to the black man and the black woman? What kind of bad choices did we make then? And what kind of choices can we make now to not only negate that, but overcome it?
Yes.
I say educate. Back then we were not able to really to Google and get a book. Right now, we can pick up our phones and basically look up anything. And hopefully on a non-biased site, right? And do our proper due diligence and educate ourselves, because that's where the knowledge is at. That's how we begin to break generational curses. And don't forget, generational curse is a choice, respectfully. So once you are educated, you begin to break those mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial chains. So I say that with love.
And that's 100%.
See how there's a difference between how she presented it and how me and Concrete presented it and answered the question. That's where the love comes in. That's where the understanding comes in, and that's what we're missing.
Absolutely. Piggyback on Concrete.
Go ahead.
Right. She's 100% correct. But my thing is, once we educate ourselves,
we need
to set our young folk down and educate them.
Yes.
Because that's where it matters. Because we're already dealing with it. We're already in the middle of it.
Yes.
How about we turn the curve and help the young folk out after us? Now, when they come in contact with it, they know what it is and they know how to respond.
Absolutely. And to us, go ahead. No, go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was finished.
Okay. My biggest thing of the way that she did it is because when you use, everybody has trigger words, and when you use a trigger words like coddling black men, I understand us taking accountability, and I'm not saying black men should not be accountable for their actions. When we're talking about the war on drugs, we shouldn't have been picking up the drugs and selling it. You know what I'm saying? When they threw guns in our neighborhood, we shouldn't have picked up the guns and start shooting each other with it. You know what I'm saying? We should have took those guns and protected our neighborhoods. But these are the things, these are the effects that happen. And the reason why we're having this type of conversation and this dialogue, so we can understand. It's really about, and my man Jericho Young said it also, comprehension. We need to comprehend the effects of this, because and you can say it in a church type of way. It's a spiritual warfare. You can say it's a warfare against black men, black women, whatever it is. There is war. We are at war. Like my friend Sharon always says, we are at war. And if we don't understand the casualties of war, then how are we able to pick up and be able to defend ourselves? So these conversations are needed, so we can be able to have something to think about, because a lot of people just don't think. That's the problem. We don't sit back and just think. Why do black men and black women have so much issues within each other? Why are our marriage rate is the way that it is? Why 50% of African American men and women are not married in America? Why is these particular type of things? Because we're at war. And if we don't have these conversations and we don't understand and be able to get a resolution in a program to go forward, then how the hell are we going to do anything else? Go ahead, and I got about 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Go ahead, whoever wants to speak.
If I can just ask one question, and this isn't here, I'm not here to like cause any contention or anything, but I guess my sincere question would be, what exactly are black men at war like with?
With Jim Crow, Willie Lynch, the system, may I go on? We have the welfare system, we have the child support system, we have they get underpaid, they're not respected, they looked as inferior, they treat them like dogs, they dog them out at work and things like that. I mean, the system entirely as a whole is against the black community, and definitely for the black men.
I definitely can agree to that. I know that there's like some, systems designed, that are, I mean, obviously holding back, black men in general. But I'm speaking more so of like, there's other races of men. I don't think, and I think this is what Paris was trying to like convey, that, the thing is that other races of men do not hold a victim mentality, and which causes them to, be successful in areas that, are really not successful for black men.
So as the resident counselor speaker, if you would allow me to say that both you and Concrete are correct. It's both are happening on both fronts. And what's happened is the warrior inside of our men right now needs to be reawakened, and that is a very hard road to be on. And you are right. There are certain systems, Concrete is right, sorry, there are certain systems in place, and you are absolutely right as well, Snicker. I'm just reading your name tag, that there are ways to get around that, and right now that is the process that we're in. When you are in a psychological war, you have to be mindful. The desolation of war is completely debilitating, and that's where we are as a people. I'm not trying to insult anybody, and I'm also not going to coddle anybody. The desolation of war is debilitating, and we are in the generation right now that has the ability to see that, to educate ourselves about that, and to do something with that. You are absolutely, yep.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Go ahead. I'm gonna give y'all 5 more minutes. I'm give y'all 5 more minutes.
I got 2 points to make it quick. The first point, until we realize that some of our enemies is within our own camp,
within ourselves.
Then we can really understand the scope of the fight that we're in. Because a lot of our enemies and our roadblocks are our own people. But to the point that Snicker said, yes, there are other races of black men that may not have the same mentality as us, and this is because we have got to the point to where we went away from wanting equality to equity. Just because the difference between equality and equity has to do with outcomes. Yes, we want this amount of people that's black men to get this amount of things, but that's not the true thing that we need. And yes, I'm sorry, I'm choking on something.
Don't die.
I'm not. And black men are disproportionately represented in all those categories.
Yes.
So say for instance that if one Ivy League is taking 10 kids that are not white, they're only taking 1 black kid.
Well, we should have our own Ivy Leagues, honey, and that's what she's trying to say.
Yes.
The desolation of war has caused a warrior to be bred out of us, and that's just the truth.
That is true, and I agree 100%. But the reason is because we have got something to this thing called equality and equity, and we don't truly understand the difference between the two. We think equity is equality,
like Malcolm X said, but that's a whole nother situation.
Yeah, that is. And I don't want to take it spiritual, but I'm gonna take it there because the Bible that I read says that my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways and seek my face. He will hear from heaven and he will heal the land. He will heal the land. We need to stop what we're doing and take a deep evaluation of ourselves and get back to where we was when in the 60s when we were closer to God and we were making ground. Without God, this is not possible. And we need to get back to our, what made the black community powerful. And that was God. And I didn't want to make it religion based, but I'm a God-fearing man. And I firmly believe that once we get back in tune with God as a collective group, this thing won't turn around like it should.
All right, so let me just hold on. I'm sorry, Snicker. I'm getting ready to wrap up the YouTube portion of this. I thank you guys. You could be able to continue the conversation after the credits roll. But I just like to thank everybody who tuned into the Dre Mack Show. Make sure that you guys are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel, The Dre Mack Show, so we can be able to continue these conversations. So whenever you see that bell notification, hit that bell notification and never miss an episode of one of my shows. Also go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Speaker Radio to be able to listen to any of the podcasts that I have previous beforehand. I thank everybody who came on to the stage. I love y'all. Peace. Shalom to everyone.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Dre Mack, with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show.